Hi, it's Calistus here, and in this video I'll be talking about the index match formula. The index match formula is a combination of two functions in Excel, the index function and the match function. Now, the index function is a function that returns the value of a cell in a table based on the column and row number. Now, while the match function returns the position of a cell in a row or column. Now, when you combine these two formulas together, we have what is called the index match function. And what it does is it can look up and return the value of a cell in a table based on vertical and horizontal criteria. Now, how do we use the index formula to begin with? Now, I have a table on this Excel workbook. Now, this table contains the height and the weight of some persons. Now, the table is labeled. Now, this table has three columns. Column for name, height, and the weight, right? So, I've labeled column for name as column 1, the column for height as column 2, and the column for weight as column 3. I equally have 8 rows here. These are 8 rows. Now, to begin using the index function, so I will define my objective here. Let me define my objective here. So I want to make this and highlight. So my first objective here is to use the index function to look up. I want to use it to look up Carl Ben's height. So I'm interested in getting the height of this person called Carl Ben, for instance. Right? So this is where I've defined that objective. So this is now demonstration of the index function. Right? So I want to achieve this. Right? So this is what is entering my formula. Now, to begin entering the formula, I'll start with my equal sign, type the word index. Now, this will be followed by a parenthesis. Now, the first argument in my function is to select what we call the array. Now, the array is simply the table range. So I want to select this range that covers this whole table. So I'm selecting the range that covers the whole table. This is the range that covers the whole table. Now, this will be followed by a comma. Then I'll select the row number where Carl Ben, this person I'm interested in. So this person is located in row 5. Now, this row 5, remember, is based on my numbering, not Excel numbering. So my numbering, this is found on row 5. So I'm entering 5, followed by a comma. Now, the column number based on my numbering is in column 2, where we have the heights of all the persons. So if I type 2 here and I type enter, now this will return and give me the value of 5.5, which is actually the height of this person on this table. Now, next, I want to use the match function. I want to use the match function, and this time around I'll be using the match function to actually figure out what row this person, Carl Ben, is in. So let me drag this to expand my objective. This time around I'm using the match function. The match function to let me call this to figure out what row Carl Ben is. Alright, I've defined my objective. So this is where I'll enter the formula that is going to help me achieve that. Now, this is the match function. So I'll start by entering the word match. So I'll enter the word match. Now, this will be followed by a parenthesis. My parenthesis. So I'll put my parenthesis. right? So what I want next is to the lookup value. Now let me delete this formula again, right? Let me type the word Carl Ben here, Carl Ben, right, as it is written on that table, right? So let me come back to my match function here. I'll put the word equal to match, open parenthesis. Now this time around I want to link this cell, right? So I want to look up for Carl Ben. So I'll select Carl Ben. Now it is written in this cell. Now what I want to do next is to select the entire name column, right, where this name is located. This name I've written here. So I'll select this. I'll select this column. I have selected the column. So this will be followed by a number. Remember, you must include your header. Now this will be followed by a comma. Then I will now type the word 0. Now 0 is telling me that I want an exact match. So I'll put 0, right? And I'll type enter. So, and it tells me that Carl Ben is located in row 5, which is actually true. Now I'm going to use the match function again, but this time around I want to use it to figure out what column height, to figure out the column height this time around. So I'm just going to drag this objective. So I want this time around I want to figure what height it is located in, what height, right? Or what column. I want to figure out what column, right, Carl Ben's height is located, is found, right? The first one was to find out what row Carl Ben's height, to find out, use the row to find out Carl Ben, to figure out what row Carl Ben is. Now the first function figures out what row Carl Ben is. The second function is to figure out what column that person's height is found, right? So what I want to do this time around, I'll still type the person's name here. So this time around I'll type the match function, open my parenthesis. Now having done that, I need to enter my lookup value. So what's actually my lookup value? So my lookup value this time around is to link, I'll link this, since I'm interested in the height, right? Let me change this to height. Let me delete my match function. Let me type the word height here. So this first function was to figure out what row Carl Ben is. Now this is to find out what column is Carl Ben's height, right? So I want to put here my match function, open parenthesis, select this word height here because this is my lookup value. This is what I want to look up. I will now select this row because this is where the rows that contains the name of the different rows. So this range contains the name of the different rows. Now having done that, I'll follow by a comma and enter 0. And if I type that, it returns the value 2. So what is this saying? That the name Carl Ben is found on row 5 and the height is found, I can look up the height in column 2. Now we can combine these two functions together, the index and the match function, and use it together. So how am I going to use this function? What I'm going to do is using the formula where I'll replace the figure 5 and 2 in this original formula here. Now let's click on this formula. You see this formula has 5 and 2, and it is referring to these values we got here. So what I'm going to do, let me type the word enter here. I'll copy this formula, this match formula. I want to copy that formula. Now without the equal sign, I'll copy the formula. Let me copy the whole formula here. I want to copy the formula. I'll type my enter. I'll come here. Okay, I'll come here. So, okay, I'll come to this first. So where I have 5, I'll replace that 5 with that formula. I'm replacing the 5 with the formula. So I'm replacing the 5 with the formula. Let me take it again. Now, this index function gave us the height of carbon. Now the first match function tells us what row we can see the name carbon, and the next match function helps us to figure out what column the height of carbon is, where we can get the height of this person. Now I'm going to use this index function. I want to use what we call the index match function, which is a combination of both functions, to use it together to get this same figure here. Now what I'll do is, this is what this formula is saying. This is the formula bar. Let me zoom my screen. This is the formula bar. It's saying index. This is the range 5 and 2. Now this 5 and 2 is referring to this 5 and the 2 we got here. So what I want to do is, I'll copy the formula that gave me this 5. Copy the formula without the equal sign. Then I'll come to the index formula I have. This is my index formula here. Let me type enter. Come to my index formula. Replace this 5. Copy, highlight this 5 and replace it with that function. Type enter. Come to this function, the function that gave me this value. Copy it. Copy it. Let me copy it. So I've copied it. Come to this formula, type enter. Come to this formula, replace the 2 I have here, paste it. So let me zoom my screen a little, enter. So it still returns the 5.5. Let me zoom my screen so that you see what the formula is. So this is the formula. So this formula has been expanded to bring in the index formula I use for getting the location of carbon, and the same index formula I used to figure out where the height is located for that person. So this is how you can actually combine the index and the match formula to actually return a desired value. Thank you very much for watching this video.